sorry, let me select this area and then start blurring images. It gives a focus to this area. It's just similar to using a brush tool. Just start painting. Now let me reduce the diameter and then zoom in a little and then move by pressing the space bar. Let me select the blur tool and then start blurring these areas. Right. This tool really helps the photographers. The photographers spend a lot of money on buying lenses and then try focusing on one particular area or capturing photographs, right? So Photoshop makes it pretty easier. Let me increase the diameter and then make sure you do not blur it too much or the image would look odd. Alright, now let me zoom out. Now this particular area has the focus. Let's see the change. This was the original image and this is the after image. Right? I can always go ahead and increase the strength of the blurriness, right? The blurriness. Again, just go ahead and start painting. Let me blur it a little more so this area gets a focus. This image was captured on August 15th when me and my friends were out for a flower show at a park which is known as the Lal Bagh. It was fun. Yeah, it was. Alright, so I think this is enough. Now let's see the changes. Original image and this is after. You get a clear focus on this area. Now this area is a little bit blurred out. No, it was on the original image itself, right? This area is blurred. Now let's give a little focus in this area from here. So for that you can always use the sharpen tool. Similar way, just increase the diameter, right? And then I can always adjust the strength. Let us keep it in 50 and then just start painting. Not too much, just a little. Let me increase. Alright, so let me zoom out. You see there is a little bit of focus, not much, because this is not a high resolution image, right? So pretty much you have a focus completely. Or I can always start sharpening it, but the originality, the colors will go. So let's keep it light, right? Alright, so that's it with the blur tool and the sharpen tool. Now let's go ahead with the gradient. Okay, now let's create a wallpaper using the gradient tool. That would be fun. Let's combine the gradient tool and the marquee tool. Okay, so let me close this. and let me create a new file. Alright, so I would have to change the resolution. Let me get the resolution of my screen, by just taking a screenshot of this by pressing the screenshot button on the keyboard, and then let me use the shortcuts this time. Control N. I have a new option here to create a new file, and let me change the resolution to 300. Okay, and then let's start using the gradient tool. Let's check with the paint bucket tool. Let me create a new layer, and then already there is a color selected, and click. The color is filled. This is similar to the paint bucket tool in the paint, which comes along with the default Windows XP or Windows 98 operating systems, right? So let me create a new layer, select the gradient tool, let me select some colors, click OK. Let me choose a background color also, much lighter color. Alright, now let's click the mouse here, right here, all the way to the top, and then drag and then release. You see the light color, that is the background color, at the bottom, and the foreground color on top. And you can always double click here and then adjust, right? You can always make an adjustment, and click OK, and just drag and release. Right? Let's rename it as background. Alright, and then let's go ahead and use the elliptical marquee tool. Let me create a new layer, and then let me make a selection by holding shift, right? And then let me hold alt and make another selection here. Okay, and then let me hold alt again and remove some of these. Now let me fill in a color here inside this selection. Let me choose white. Let me click OK. Let me right click and click on fill, and then click OK. Now the color is filled in. Let me right click and deselect. Okay, now I can always change the size or the shape of this particular image by pressing Control T, which is used to transform, right? I can resize it any way I want, or I can always create a duplicate of this by just dragging it on this new layer. I have a duplicate. Let me move. Let me select the move tool and then move it here. Let me resize it by pressing Control and T as in Tango. Let me resize it. Let me place it right here. Right? And then let's try using a single row marquee tool. Alright, let's use it. Let me come here and click. Selection is made. I can create a new layer and then fill the color by pressing Alt and backspace, which is white, which is in the foreground. Alright. Let me zoom out a little, and then let's add some effects, or